तो मैं अपनी बहन के घर पहुंच चुकी हूँ और ज़बरदस्त यमी खाना हमने खाया है। मैंने बिरयानी खाई और टिरामिसू और पता नहीं बहुत पेट ठूस का खाना खाया है। और अब बैठे हुए हैं, थोड़ी ठंड है, ब्लैंकेट ओढ़ा हुआ है, हीटर ऑन है और इस टाइम पे थोड़ा सा खाने के बाद मैं रिलैक्स कर रही हूँ और फिर आपसे मिलते हैं। Here we are at the cinema, View Cinema, and you're going to watch Sajjal Ali's movie. What's Love got to do with it? And that movie has been produced by Jemima Khan. So I'm in London, I'm going to watch the movie. Enjoy, guys, and then I'll give you the feedback regarding the movie. Bye bye. तो जी आज हम जा रहे हैं लंदन शहर की सैर के लिए और हम सेंट्रल लंदन जाएंगे और वहाँ पे लंदन ब्रिज, टावर ब्रिज, so here comes our bus. Wow. We need to go to the station first. So we are in the train now. Our way to the London Bridge. So जनाब हम बस और उसके बाद ट्रेन का सफ़र करते हुए लंदन ब्रिज स्टेशन के पास पहुंच गए और वहाँ पे हम बहुत ही खूबसूरत एक जगह है हेज़ गैलरिया, हम उधर गए जहाँ पे कैफ़ेज़ और वहाँ से हमने कॉफ़ी वगैरह पी और फिर आगे का सफ़र हमने करके कर लिया। So we are at the Hayes Galleria, London Bridge जा रहे हैं। London Bridge City, Hayes Galleria celebrates its past with great gusto. Originally known as Hayes Wharf in the 1600s and then the famous larder of London in the 1800s, it was at the center of the trade and shipping port, most famous for its tea imports until it was damaged during World War II. So to mark its rebirth in 1987, a rivet-covered bronze moving sculpture with the face of a man and the body of an industrial-age ship named the Navigators was installed. So this unique 60-feet sculpture created by artist David Kemp was commissioned to commemorate the shipping heritage that Hayes Galleria holds so dear. Its quintessential British charm, excellent transport links, including the Thames, Clippers, and London Bridge Station, and superb scenic views of riverside London make Hayes Galleria a popular destination for culture vulture tourists and local city slickers alike. So in amongst this iconic London neighborhood is a fantastic range of world-class food, shopping, and entertainment for all tastes and ages. There has been a bridge over the Thames at the site for nearly 2,000 years. The first one was built by the Romans, while the current one opened in 1973. So London Bridge is a simple functional bridge which is sometimes confused with its more elaborate neighbor, Tower Bridge. London Bridge and Tower Bridge, both iconic bridges, are in the capital city of London. And there's only a 13-minute walk between them, but the history and design are wildly different, totally different. The Tower Bridge was designed by Sir Horace Jones and John Wolfe-Berry, and it opened to the public in 1894. So Tower Bridge is one of the most instantly recognizable attraction in London, although it was never meant to stand out. It was specially designed to blend in with the surroundings like the Tower of London. While it does, it's still an iconic landmark. The original concept was for Tower Bridge to function as a drawbridge, with pulleys lifting the bridge to allow boats to pass. This proved to be too much for the towers to handle, so they built Tower Bridge as a bascule bridge. Bascule means seesaw, which is how the two sides of the road open now. guys, this is the London Bridge. ये है मशहूर ज़माना London Bridge. और contrary to the nursery rhyme, London Bridge has never actually fallen down. Ice, fire, and Vikings have damaged it, but it's never technically fallen down. London Bridge, in one form or another, has stood for nearly 2,000 years, with the first construction being erected by the Romans in 43 AD. It started life as a pontoon bridge with wooden planks over anchored boats before evolving to a wooden construction and finally stone. The appearance has transformed significantly over the years. At one time, looking like a mini city full of wooden shops, houses, and industry, sadly, these wooden structures, coupled with human negligence, led to several fires and the ultimate decision to clear the bridge of all but traffic. Several bridges named London Bridge have spanned the River Thames between the City of London and Southwark in central London. The current crossing, which opened to traffic in 1973, is a box-girded bridge built from concrete and steel. It replaced a 19th century stone-arched bridge, which in turn superseded a 600-year-old stone-built medieval structure. To walk between the two takes around 13 minutes in a straight line down the Queen's Walk. It's a fun walk, passing Potter's Fields Park and the HMS Belfast Floating Museum,
now if you're standing
plus
on the
many
London
street
Bridge,
performers and entertainers.
and you can see the
Carry
view
on further and
the
you'll have
Tower
beautiful
Bridge from
views of
there.
the London Eye, Millennium Bridge, and a view of Parliament
And
across
is
the
that
water.
the tallest tower
The
over there?
approaches to the
What
medieval
is it
bridge
called?
were marked by the Church
The
of
Shard?
St.
Okay,
Magnus
that's
the
tallest
Martyr on the northern bank
Tallest
and
building.
by Southwark Cathedral on the
Okay.
southern shore. Until Putney Bridge opened in 1729, London Bridge was the only route crossing of the Thames downstream of Kingston upon Thames. London Bridge has been depicted in its several forms in art, literature, and songs, including the famous nursery rhyme.
Wow. The name of the building is The Garden.
The garden
At 120. And what street is this on?
Fenchurch Street.
Fenchurch Street? Okay. And you can see the whole of London from here. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Gherkin over there.
What is that?
The Gherkin, that building.
The Gherkin building. Oh yeah. It used to be the tallest one time.
Yeah.
Shard is the London's highest and tallest building, and the best view is situated at the top of the Shard on the floor 68, 69, and 72, and at almost twice the height of any other viewing platform in the capital. It offers visitors unparalleled 360-degree views for up to 40 miles.
of the Tower Bridge from the rooftop. Shore.
The Tower of London has played a prominent role in English history. The tower has served variously as an armory, a treasury, and the home of the Royal Mint, a public record office, and the home of the crown jewels of England. As the most secure castle in the land, the tower guarded royal possessions and even the royal family in times of war and rebellion. But for 500 years, monarchs also used the tower as a surprisingly luxurious palace. Throughout the history, the tower has also been a visible symbol of awe and fear. Kings and queens imprisoned their rivals and enemies within its walls. The stories of prisoners, rich and poor, still haunt the tower. Medieval kings and queens lived in luxurious apartments at the tower. Henry VIII modernized the rooms inside in preparation for the coronation of his new bride, Anne Boleyn, in 1533. She and the king feasted here in splendor the night before Anne processed in triumph through the city of London to Westminster Abbey. 3 years later, Anne was back at the tower, this time accused of adultery and treason. She was held in the same luxurious lodgings before being executed by sword on Tower Green. There are 35 bridges which cross over the river in London, so wherever you find yourself along the Thames, you're guaranteed to be close to at least one of these famous bridges. Tower Bridge is the most iconic bridge in London, and it's crossed by almost 40,000 people each day. London Bridge is arguably just as famous as the Tower Bridge. The Millennium Bridge opened to the public on 10th June 2000, linking St. Paul's Cathedral on the north bank of the Thames with the Tate Modern and Shakespeare's Globe. Southwark Bridge links the City of London with Southwark on the south bank of the Thames. Then there is Blackfriars Bridge, which was built in 1869. Waterloo Bridge was opened in 1945. The current Waterloo Bridge earned the nickname the Ladies' Bridge as it was built mainly by women during World War II, while men were away and they were fighting. So the first bridge built here in 1817 was made up of 9 granite arches and commemorated the victory of the British, the Dutch and the Prussians at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Hungerford Bridge and Golden Jubilee Bridges were opened in 2002. Cross the Thames at Westminster Bridge If you want to get an iconic picture of Big Ben on the north bank or the London Eye to the south, it's the oldest road bridge across the Thames in central London and was designed by engineer Thomas Page. The bridge also features details by the same architect as the Palace of Westminster, Charles Berry. The Lambeth Bridge provide views of the Houses of Parliament, Big Ben and the London Eye. Then comes the Vauxhall Bridge, which is a red and yellow bridge designed by Sir Alexander Binney, and it's a major used as a major interchange on the south bank. So in 1851, during the construction of the famous Chelsea Bridge, which was originally referred to as Victoria Bridge, workmen found Roman and Celtic weapons as well as human skulls, and it was thought that this might have been where Julius Caesar and his army crossed the Thames. Albert Bridge connects Chelsea on the north bank of the Thames to Battersea on the south. It is one of the only two road bridges in London never to have been replaced, but has had to be strengthened twice in order to support an increasing number of motor vehicles. They are the last remaining ones in London. Battersea Bridge was built in 1890 and is the narrowest road bridge over the Thames. The current Wandsworth Bridge was opened in 1940. To camouflage it from air raids, it was painted in shades of blue. While the bridge is one of the busiest in London, carrying more than 50,000 vehicles a day, it has been described as probably the least noteworthy bridge in the city. Then there is Putney Bridge, which crosses the Thames between Putney and Fulham. Hammersmith Bridge was opened in 1887 and is currently closed to motor vehicles, though cyclists and pedestrians can still cross between Hammersmith and Barnes. On 3rd July 1933, Chiswick Bridge opened at 4:30 p.m. The first of three bridges opened that day. Twickenham then followed at 5 p.m. and Hampton Court at 5:30 p.m. Kew Bridge takes you from the train station of the same name across the Thames to Kew Gardens. The Museum of London also holds all the objects presented to King Edward VIII on the day the bridge first opened, as it was originally named King Edward VIII Bridge. Like its neighbour, Richmond Bridge also crosses the Thames between Twickenham and Richmond. Built between 1774 and 1777 as a replacement for a ferry crossing, it is now the oldest surviving Thames bridge in London. Then there is a Kingston Bridge, and it's a short walk from the Kingston side of Kingston Bridge to the huge park at Hampton Wick. The furthest upstream Thames bridge in Greater London, Hampton Court Bridge, crosses the Thames from Hampton Court Palace.